What's up, Jerry? Jay Willie, what's going on? People starting to come in. We'll let people get filed in and we'll get started. College football talk, week 7. Yes, they are, Jerry. And we've made a lot of money off of them this postseason. Give it about another minute to let everybody come in. Let me know if this screen freezes on you guys, because it froze on me a couple of times while trying to get this started. So if it doesn't take much to log off and log back on. All right, here they come. Jerry, what's your matchup for college football you like this week? All right, thanks, Jay Willie. I appreciate the update. It wasn't that it was freezing this time. It's like stuttering on my end a little bit, and it may just be my camera. I don't know. The Michigan game. Really? Out of all the games, that's your favorite? Okay. Well, we'll make sure to talk about that one then. That is going to be a good game. I just kind of wish Florida minus 5.5 versus South Carolina trap. Yeah. I mean, the line, yes. The line most definitely screams trap line, because I don't care if South Carolina beat Georgia by 100 points. Florida is by far the superior team. I don't care that they're on the road. I mean, they're more talented than, I mean, at every position. I think they're better coached overall, even though I'm not saying that Dan Mullen is himself a ton better than Will Muschamp. They both have their strong suits, but as a entire coaching staff, Florida has definitely got the superior advantage. But I mean, the only way you can look at this game is Florida minus 5.5. I mean, there's no other way you can look at it. If you're going to take South Carolina and take a chance, you might as well take a chance on the money line and pray to God they end up pulling off the impossible and doing it 2 weeks in a row. I just don't see it. You know, I expected that South Carolina would get some credit for what they did this weekend, or this past weekend against Georgia, as well as Florida, you know, kind of getting shafted just a little bit by odds makers as far as respect goes because of the LSU game. But I mean, let's face it. I could power rank this game, and even if South Carolina was undefeated this year, I'd still say that Florida's 12, 13-point favorite. With the win-loss record, I say Florida should be 15-16. But so, I mean, if I play the game, I mean, this one will be one of those that I wait till the day of. If I play it, the side, there'll be only one way I play it, and it won't be in favor of South Carolina. And trust me, I mean, as a taking money and investments out of it and putting my heart into it, I mean, I mean, I'm tied close to that university. So, you know, I was happy to see Georgia go down, but my wallet wasn't. So what's everybody? So let's do this because we're gonna run for about a half hour today. So let's do it like this. We talked about the Florida South Carolina game. There's another game very similar to that one that I kind of have the same feelings about, and we'll get into that one towards the end. But let's go through and pick like 5 games, college football. And let's do it all Saturday games because we only got one game tonight. You know, I know we've got games tomorrow and Friday, but we'll leave those up to the free play videos that I do between now and then. If you're wanting my opinion or a free play in tonight's college football game, that was my free play that I did late last night, early this morning. It's already up. It's been up since about 2 a.m. So you can go check that out. I do have a premium play in that game as a free play. And that line is moving, or has moved, excuse me. That line has moved 2.5 points since opening yesterday. Luckily, I put that out early enough to where plenty of people should have been able to get it, and I hope you bet it early. Which I think a lot of that line movement is due to Caleb Barker, Troy's quarterback, going from questionable to probable. I think that's got a lot to do with it, and that's also why Troy moved from. They opened up at 14.5, went to 15 pretty fast, and now they're all the way up to 17, which is fine. But my play's on the total. So give me a game, guys. Saturday college football. Or if you've got any generic questions, I can answer those too. Oregon versus Washington. At first glance, I have not actually gotten to that game yet. I mean, obviously I've looked at it, but I haven't gotten into, true, breaking it down and capping it. But at first glance, I like Oregon. I really do. I don't think Oregon's been given enough credit. When they came off of that early season loss, since then they've played phenomenal, and I think that. Damn, not into college football much. Well, we'll be doing NFL tomorrow, Elliot. So usually that's what we do. Wednesdays we focus more on college, and then Thursdays we do more NFL talk. But there's a lot more college, played. So we try to do that earlier in the week because there's usually a lot more line movement too. Somebody said Georgia, Kentucky. That's the one that I was referring to a couple of minutes ago. That I kind of had the same feeling about. That Tennessee was straight up winner. Nice pick. Yep, thanks, Bankroll. I told you guys I had a feeling about that game. And it came through. So somebody just mentioned Georgia, Kentucky. That is a game that I feel just like I feel about the game between Florida and South Carolina. I'm not saying that I've got a pick in this game. I'm not saying that I will have a pick in this game. It's possible. But if I have a pick in this game, there's only one way that I can lean, and that's Georgia minus the points. Now, in saying that, right now you are going to have to lay 25, which is steep. It's steep. Oh, man. If anybody's watched Kentucky this year, they don't have a terrible defense. And if you look at the size factor, they actually match up to Georgia pretty well. Now, the thing they don't have is speed, which Georgia does. But Georgia really hasn't gone out there and shown their speed the past two games. They did their thing against Tennessee, who's terrible. They did their thing, and then they go out there against South Carolina. They don't show their speed at all. No more than a handful of plays did they really break out the speed that we know they have. So it is the thing. Are they going to do it? Kirby Smart knows, but Kirby Smart knew last week he had to make a statement. So listen, him getting pushed back to 10, I had somebody tell me, this week who just happened to be a Georgia fan, they were like, it's done, it's over, there's no possible way they can make the college football playoffs now. That's very, very untrue. Let's go back and look to the start of this thing, and even back to the BCS days where there was no playoff. How many times have we seen a one-loss team make it in? Plenty of times. I mean, you see, Clemson go out there and lose to Pittsburgh or Syracuse, both unranked at the time, and they make the college football playoffs. You look at a team like Oklahoma or Michigan State or even Alabama, losing a game and still making it in because overall they're just the best teams. And winning 12 games in 13 weeks is very, very difficult, especially when you have as much time as you have to prepare and as much film as you have to prepare with. You're playing different dynamics of teams every week. So you go out there and you look at what LSU's done against lesser opponents, against true opponents. That's something that Alabama has all season long to prepare for before they play them or before they play Auburn or, something like that. What's up, Eric? So Kirby Smart knows that the only way he's going to make college football playoffs is he's going to have to win out. Obviously, that's not a secret. He needs to make a statement in every game thus, here on out. Plus, when they do play Florida in the world's biggest cocktail party, they're going to have to take down Florida, and they're going to have to do it not in, some movie-style dramatic fashion at the end or some big interception. They're going to need to go out there and win. Start to finish, control the game, and win. And then if they do that, and you're looking at Georgia and Florida both being, one-loss teams, but Georgia beats Florida, he's very smart. Kirby Smart is one of, I'm not going to say, we know Saban's the best coach. I say Kirby is, I'm not going to say he's second. He's definitely in the top 5. I'll be honest with you. I thought the smartest coach in college football, well, first, before I get into that, there's only one way I'm looking at this game. If I can get it below 25, we can get it back down to 24, 23 and a half, something like that. I give a heavy lean to Georgia. That's the only way I can look at this game, period. If I don't end up taking Georgia, then there will be no play on the side. I cannot go out there and fade Georgia just because of what happened with South Carolina, because guess what? South Carolina is better than Kentucky. Defensively, they're a world ahead of Kentucky. And they've got one of the best defensive minds in college football in Will Muschamp. Say what you want about him. He's a shitty head coach when he sticks his nose in the offense, in the special teams, into things like that. That's why he lost his job at Florida. That man would have gone out there and probably been an SEC East champion and truly been competitive for an SEC championship if he would have just let the offensive coordinator do their job, stay out of it, focus on defense, and just be the face. That's all he needed to do. He screwed himself out of a fucking perfect job at Florida for him. That was his perfect job. Now going back to who I thought was the best coach in college football. I mean, obviously Nick Saban, you can't deny him. I'll be honest with you. I think Urban Meyer gets overlooked a lot in that conversation of best college football coach out there, or was out there, because he's not there. He has another, terminal illness or whatever. He'll be back. Or at least I think he will. Might be back as an AD or something. Who knows? Looking forward to winning money with you, bro. Keith, I just saw where you signed up, too. I saw that. And if you notice, after you signed up, it takes a couple of minutes for the system to process everything, but you should already be able to log in and see where your extension's been given. So 5 days instead of 3. And for anybody that doesn't know, that has not watched the free play video yet, we have a promotion going on today until 7 p.m. Eastern time. You buy a 3-day pass, so that will include today because no game starts before 7 p.m. You are going to get, if you buy 3 days for $50, you're going to get 5 days. So you're going to get today through Sunday. So it's the first time I've ever done this. It'll probably be the only time. It was an idea a customer gave me. To do it it was really just a 4-day pass that I do on Thursdays, but doing it at a different part of the week for some people that may not be interested in NFL, yada yada. I just decided to do it on Wednesday and carry it all the way through. 7-day pass is $99. Clemson minus points. Bankroll, I do too, truthfully. Everybody knows how I feel about that team, but I like Clemson minus points. That's another game that there's only one way I can look at it. 7 days, you're going to get 7 days. But you're going to get my big top play of this week, which could potentially be play of the year status in football. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you whether it's college, NFL, what time it starts, what the temperature is going to be, anything. You'll just have to wait and see. But if you buy the 7 days before 7 p.m., you're going to get your 7 days, all premium and daily top play in all sports, and you're going to get that play for absolutely free as well. So anywhere from $50 to $100 purchase value added on. If you buy a month, just like Mr. Chester just did, you are not only going to get that month and that big top play. Chase the best keeper I know, straight up. Appreciate it, Bankroll. You're also going to get 1 week added. Houston minus 22, I like, Jay Willie. The Ohio, I don't know. I hadn't dug far enough into it. Houston, even with the quarterback out, UConn is just not ready to play top teams. I love how other services claim they're so great at NHL, but have to rely on their Canadian comrades. I like how most people say they have Canadian comrades and don't, and some people do. Some people that claim they do, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, and he does. I like it when somebody that's never done NHL before this year all of a sudden pops up, and now they've got hockey guys, and they're the best, and we're top NHL guys. Guys, I don't know if you guys realize this. I think Jerry probably does. But when I came on and went public doing all this almost 2 years ago, we were into, 3 weeks into baseball season maybe. Maybe not even quite that. And that's what really made the partnership happen that ended up happening was MLB. That's what really, kind of lit the fire. But the first play I ever released publicly as a paid play was an NHL play. And I still remember it. It was Winnipeg something. I don't remember if it was money line, puck line, total. I just remember it was Winnipeg. It was a top play. There you go. You remember. And I think that day, very first video I ever did, I took the Boston Red Sox as a free play. And that was just kind of getting everything started before all the packages came out and all that stuff. And then, of course, I built my name in MLB, but did very well in NHL as well. And I don't have a NHL guy. I do have a guy that I hired this year that does pull a lot of data for me. And he's very good at it. He's very quick with it, and he's willing to work a lot of hours to pull what I want pulled to study. So it saves me time, especially when you get into days like Saturday and Sunday when you've got so much going on. You're trying to find the time to do something like NHL. I don't have to. I'm able to do it because of him. So, in NHL, we are 21-7 for the year. 2-0 in top plays in NHL. So another great start to what's going to be another great year. Last night hit another top play in MLB. You're just not going to find anybody that does MLB like I do. I think the only top play we lost was Saturday. We got crushed. Appreciate it, Elliot. But I think that was the only day we lost a top play. God. No, we did lose one other top play that week. I just can't remember right off the top of my head if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. So, we have talked about Kentucky, Georgia. We've talked about Florida, South Carolina. What we got here? I don't understand how a company can have guys giving out both sides of a play. Don't know. Can't tell you that, brother. But I will say this. Nobody handicaps the same. Unless they're an amateur and they don't really handicap. They go out there and just look at basic stats. But everybody has their own style. That's all I can say. And unless they're sitting in a room together or on the phone together having to agree on something, if they're their own person, there's a good chance that there's going to be times where people disagree. And in those times, if they feel strongly enough about it, it'll get released. That's where if you end up getting both sides of that play, you have to make the decision of, do I lay off, which may be the most, probably the smartest thing to do in those situations, or do you put your trust in one person versus the other for whatever reason and, go with one side or the other. But then at that point, the pressure falls on you. Can you do a quick recap on the games you already talked about? The only ones we've truly talked about was Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky. And I basically told everybody there's only one side I can look at either game. That is towards the favorite. Georgia needs to come down a little bit. I'm not going to lay 25. 23.5, 24, it'd be a lean. And then if I end up playing the Florida side, there would be only one way I'd play it. Florida minus 5.5 or less. Even if it landed on 6 and I decided to play it, I'd buy it. I'd buy it down to 5.5. But that's no guarantee that I'm going to play the side in either of those games. Because the Florida line is suspect, but I feel like it might just be a little regression. So that's really all that we've truly broke down thus far. But we're 23 minutes in. We're probably going to go for about another 10 minutes. So making sure that we actually get the 4 to 5 games in, let's go ahead and pick that back up. Somebody give me another game, and we'll go over that one. Penn State. All right, so Jerry mentioned that game earlier too, Michigan, Penn State. That's kind of like your game of the week. Now, there's pros and cons to playing this game. This is one of those old, Big Ten rivalries. Penn State, that front seven, Mexican night 10, we're going to do NFL tomorrow, man. All NFL will be done tomorrow. That's our Thursday show is all NFL. So tune in tomorrow around the same time, and we'll break down whatever in NFL you want. Today we're focusing on college. But the Penn State-Michigan game, I think the best front seven defensively in college football is Penn State. I don't think anybody's going to argue with me on that. But I also think Michigan has a very good defense, and so I think that this right here could be a back-and-forth style game defensively. But here's what I've noticed about both teams. Michigan has still yet to do anything. Yeah, what happened to Georgia looks suspicious. Okay, thanks for answering my question, balls. All right, appreciate it, Todd. Michigan, outside of the Rutgers game, has not done anything offensively to be justified as an offensive powerhouse, to truly be even justified as a top 10 team. And if you look at what they did this past weekend against Illinois, they went out there, put up 28 points like it was nothing. And then once they started letting them come back, once their defense got really complacent, what's up, Nasty Nate? Their offense got complacent too. They did not go, when they were airing the ball out, they did not make smart decisions, quarterback-wise or coaching-wise. They were throwing into double and triple coverage consistently. And even though Illinois is terrible, you don't throw into triple coverage. Because what are you going to do? You're still going out there against a 6'6", 280-pound, guy. All you got to do is swat his hands, and the thing is, he's got a 40% chance of taking that ball from you when it's a jump ball and you're triple covered. I mean, it's just not smart. Burn clock, run the ball, score more, and wear that defense out. Then, when you've worn them out, then you can air the ball out and you won't be covered. As far as the Penn State side goes, they're making some of the smartest decisions that I think any college football team's making now as far as when they try to go downfield to make big plays. I think the only team that's probably made smarter decisions is probably Ohio State, truth be told. So, defensive edge, I'd say it's even besides the front seven of Penn State, because that's the real deal right there. Offensively, Penn State has the advantage. Penn State has home field, which that place is probably going to end up being a whiteout. It's going to be electric, kind of like last year, Ohio State, Penn State, I think it was. And I don't know that here's the thing. I've put more trust in Michigan than most people, and it's paid off this year. It really has. I don't know that I trust Harbaugh in big situations. I don't know that Harbaugh has done any big-time thing in a big game since making it to the Super Bowl when he was coaching professionally for the 49ers. But at the same time, this is one of those games, guys. It's kind of like Oklahoma, Texas. This is a rivalry. There's a lot of Big Ten, a lot of national championship, college football playoff implications on the line in a game like this. So you can't count either team out because they're both going to go for broke here, and they have to. They have to go for broke. So right now, because of that, that would be the game you'd want to watch, not bet. But if I was absolutely forced to pick something right now, which I'm not, so these are, probably not even considered leans, I'd go under 45.5, and I would lay 8.5 with Penn State. That's basic leans. Oh yeah, beyond. So that puts us 3 games in now. Let's go and do another one. See if we can get all 5 done. What's everybody else like? I thought I saw somebody put up Mississippi earlier, but I don't know if that was Mississippi State. And I don't want to assume. Guys, when you put these comments in here, they disappear on my end after like 6 or 7 seconds. So bear with me. If I'm in the midst of going over one game, I'm probably not seeing it. And if you guys don't want to give out a game you want to talk about, I can go through here and just pick one. Boise -6. I'll be honest with you. Truth be told, can you cover the Minnesota Rutgers game at -28.5? Yes, I will. Okay, so Utah, we will cover that one as our 5th game, so let's put that one on the side for a second. Somebody just asked about Boise -6. I thought I saw line movement in that game a little while ago. Let me check something here. This was all 100% current as of about 5 minutes before I started this video. So I want to check something real quick. Boise's up to 7 now. Even better, because I like BYU at home. I would buy the game. If the game stayed at 7, and come Saturday afternoon, I decided I wanted to bet it, and it was still at 7, you guys know me, I'd buy up to 7.5, and I would take the home dog as a live dog that could win this game outright. Boise's still a good team. I don't think that Boise's offense is what it has been in the past. You've got a questionable quarterback for Boise. Obviously, Zach Wilson's out for BYU. But the BYU defense is definitely superior to the Boise State offense, so that's going to give them a little trouble. I think this is going to be kind of a rambunctious game. And I think that BYU is going to take a lot of chances in this game. They're going to air it out. They're going to go downfield. They're probably going to try some trick plays that nobody really has a playbook on because they haven't had to use it or it's been irrelevant to use it in whatever situation they've been in. So I think they're going to be able to go out there and capitalize on things that Boise has not been able to prepare for. It either works or doesn't. If it doesn't work, Boise comes in and takes care of business. But if they can find some success, I think that because of their defense keeping them in this game, they find success, they win this game outright. Getting over a touchdown, I think it's very, very good value on BYU to be a home dog. So that's my thoughts on that. And then somebody said something about, let me get to that game. Damn, I thought I had it right here on this same sheet. Where is Minnesota? There it is. Minnesota Rutgers, 3:30. Newark, New Jersey. All right. Clayton Carter's out. Everybody knows that. 28 is the line right now. Obviously, if you were going to play it, sitting on a touchdown score, so you buy it at 27.5. I don't like the game. Minnesota is by far the superior team. I really think that Minnesota is the sleeper in the Big Ten this year. Are they going to win it? No, because you've got teams like Penn State. You've got teams. What's the point total for BYU game? It is. Well, shit in your hand. Where did it go? Right now, 49.5. So it's fluctuating. It started at 48.5, went up to all the way to 50.5. Now it's back down to 49.5. Probably going to see it land on somewhere right around 50, I would say. Unless something else gets announced that makes it, go up or down dramatically. But anyway, back to Minnesota Rutgers. I mean, obviously they're not going to win it. They just can't. Teams like Ohio State, Penn State, even Michigan. But I'm telling you right now, Minnesota is the sleeper team of the Big Ten. Their defense is playing well above what they get credit for. I have not given out an official free play. The official free play for today, truthfully, is in tonight's game, and it's on my video that I posted early this morning. But I will give an official free play for the video at the end, so you haven't missed it yet. Is Minnesota 4 touchdowns better? Yes, they are. But Minnesota is also a very conservative football team. They're a team that will look ahead, but in a smart way, to games that they have going on. They let their second string, they get reps, do their thing. So if they go out there and get up by 35 points, which is more than doable against a team like Rutgers, you will see them go out there and give up garbage time points to get their second and third string experience, get their first string rest, and start looking ahead to bigger and better competition and being able just to walk away with a win and being consistent because they know they're not going to the playoffs, they're not going to win the Big Ten. It would take a miracle. So in that case, just go out there and win consistently and eat away at the public persona that they're not a good football team. And within a few years, who knows? There'll be a national championship talk depending on how they do recruiting-wise and if they continue to be a true driving force in the Big Ten. So, yeah, Minnesota's the better team. They're definitely a 4-touchdown better team, but that would be a game I'd probably lay off of just because Minnesota they're not a run-the-score-up football team. I do favor the over 47.5. Again, good defensive team. The odds makers in this situation are thinking Rutgers is not going to score, which if Minnesota went and played 100% or with 100% urgency for 4 quarters, Rutgers may not score. But I do think that Rutgers will get in the end zone one time in the first half probably, and then find some late success due to Minnesota laying off a little bit. So I could see this game being, like 50-21. or excuse me, not 50-21, 40-21, 35-14, something like that. I mean, there's a lot of reason to like the over because I don't think Rutgers is going to be kept out of the end zone, and we know Minnesota's going to be able to score pretty much at will as most teams do against Rutgers. So, all right, guys, that's our 5 games. Good job. All right, as far as a free play, an official free play for this Saturday, what do we like? I'm going to be honest with you. Stanford -7. God, Stanford is the most boring, mind-numbing football team to watch. They are so boring. And how they keep coming in these seasons, being preseason ranked in the top 10, absolutely boggles me. They're not. They haven't been a top 10 team not one time they've been ranked in the top 10. Just like most years when Oklahoma's ranked in the top 5, truth be told, they should be like number 17. God, I hate to do this. All right, I was going to give you a pick. I don't care if they beat Washington. They are boring to watch. God, they're boring. And I'm not saying they're not a good football team by any means. They are a good football team. I just cannot stand to watch them. They are so boring to watch. And guess what? They're like the Tennessee Titans. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they indifferent? We don't know from week to week. One week they look like a top 5 team. The next week they don't even look like a top 25 team. And they go out there and their competition's like this too. It's like one week you go out there and beat a really good team, and the next week you're sitting there borderline losing to a team that is not even in your wheelhouse. So I was going to give a pick on the Wisconsin-Illinois game. Yes, they are consistently boring. That is a perfect way to put it. I was going to do a pick in the Wisconsin-Illinois game. I want more line movement in this game, but I want it to start kind of reversing itself. That may end up being something, there's I've been looking at that total heavy. I don't know. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to go over that because that may end up being free play for Saturday. On Saturday, we'll just see how it goes. And I'm going to do something that I absolutely hate to do. I don't mind backing them for financial reasons, but to come out and give them as a free play just means that I have to talk about them in a good way, which I hate doing. I'd rather just give it out as a premium play. That way I don't have to actually say it out loud. I got to lay 24 with Clemson. If you can get it 23.5, even better. Louisville's not a good team. Louisville does not get hyped enough at home to even scare me from not wanting to take Clemson here. And Clemson dropped another position. Here's the thing. Dabo likes, I love being the underdog. No, the hell you don't. Because it's funny, when you're the underdog, you like to bitch that nobody gives you credit or your team credit. Dabo, just stop being a baby about it. You just went and lost the majority of your defense to the NFL. Be proud that you put that on the field, or that Brent Venables put that on the field. The best defensive coach in the country, bar none. So, and you're still going out there and winning games. Now, you're not playing anybody. Really, the only true win you've had this year that you could say anything against would be Texas A&M. You can't even call the win over Carolina a win. Carolina outcoached you, played you everything. And to be honest with you, a bad call would have pushed that. I mean, that game should have been won. There was a bad call in that game, and then Mac Brown shouldn't have gone. He shouldn't have tried to go for broke there. I think Louisville's. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Supposedly, yes. I don't know for sure. I've gotten different bouts of information. I do think so. And the thing is, give me 1 second. I think that Dabo, with dropping positions even when he's winning games, and you have teams like Alabama, Ohio State's coming back from a bye this week, big games against teams like Penn and Michigan, things like that. He knows that he has to keep going out there and making a statement on the field because he's playing such garbage teams right now. Florida State's garbage. I'm sorry. Louisville is garbage. They really are. They're not even in the same classes as like a Clemson or an Alabama or an Ohio State, teams like that. So they know they can't just go out there and win on the road, and they've got to go out there and cover these ridiculous spreads and do it with ease to be able to make the statement that, yeah, okay, we do have a cupcake schedule, but we're blowing through it like they're high school teams, which is what they should do. And I think that Dabo's really taking heed to that. If he doesn't beat this team by at least 30, I don't want to hear anything from anybody that Clemson deserves another playoff berth, because this right here, this game should be just as easy as the Florida State game at home, truth be told. I think Florida State is a better team. They are a faster team. I think that Louisville, ever since the Lamar Jackson era, Louisville's been nothing. They started their rebuilding. Then they end up having players leave and transfer. Some get hurt. Some get, some got kicked off the team because they couldn't, pass a test. I mean, they're still in full rebuilding mode, and they're going against the defending national champion and the best team in the conference. Clemson by 35. There's your official replay. I'd wait it out a little bit because, the line opened up at 22. It's jumped to 24. I don't see a world where we would get it at above minus 25. I would go ahead and lay the 24, monitor it, and if it starts to come back down to that minus 22, 22 and a half, I would actually go out there and up your bet. You get it at 3 touchdowns at any time, that's top play status right there. But that's it. All right, guys, I got to go. I got a meeting at 12:30. Plays will be out around 3 p.m. 5 plays. First half might be the play, possibly, but look at what Clemson's done this year, guys. First half, Trevor Lawrence, the next Patrick Mahomes. Trevor Lawrence is not the best quarterback in college football. I don't even think he should be a Heisman candidate. But they have not been a first-half team this year like they were last year. They really haven't. Trevor really hasn't gotten off the ground until late second quarter. And then he'll come out there third quarters where he really shines, and then fourth quarters where he makes his smart decisions because he realizes that he's put his team in a lot of risky situations up until that point. So that's the only reason I'd lay off first half and go full game, because I think that it may take a little bit of time in the beginning stages of the game to get the team into full rhythm. It takes longer to get into rhythm on the road. So, and this is Louisville's Super Bowl right here. This is their Super Bowl this year. It's not like they have anybody else in the conference that's going to make for, good television. So, all right, that's it, guys. Go check out the other free play video that's got a free play in tonight's college football matchup. We've discussed 5 games today. So if you're just now tuning in, it will be posted as an archive version that you can watch here in about 30 minutes. We discussed Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota, Rutgers, Boise State, and BYU, and then an official free play on the Clemson-Louisville game. Official free play for tonight's game is in the video that I did this morning, as well as all the promos for the 3-day, 7-day, 30-day pass that includes extra days, big play of the week, all that good shit. So go check that out. I love you guys. I'll be back around the same time tomorrow between 10 and 10:15 in the morning, and we will do NFL. So for anybody who's wanting NFL today, make sure you tune back in tomorrow, and we will break down the NFL. Love you guys. See you back tomorrow. Go out there and crush today. If not on a package, jump on. We are absolutely rolling this week. Top plays are second to none as always. See you guys.